Do me a favor, give me a quick mute real quick. I'll tell you guys when to unmute.
That's the sound of the police in my hood. That's the sound of the
Welcome, 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 folks. We got a lot on the show to talk about today. As you see from our cute little thumbnail here, we got Jussie Smollet. We got the tale of the two Roberts, and we're gonna do some politics today. So, hey, one of your hosts, Dragnot. We got Nate here, and we have a special guest, the Invisible Man, aka the guy you see in every one of my doggone videos, Xavier. And so, if y'all want to actually get in on this conversation, this is open to everybody, actually. So, go ahead right now and download the Zoom app, ZOOM, and we'll put the numbers in the live chat, in the drag chat, as already has it. And you can get in on this and you can talk about it because we want to hear from y'all. We definitely want to hear from everybody because there's a lot to go over, especially when we get to politics. But we are going to do a quick rundown of a lot of this stuff because some people have not been paying attention to Jussie Smollett. Some people have been catching clips here and there. We're going to take it kind of a chronological, kind of a retelling of what's going on. And then if you're familiar with R. Kelly finally being arrested and possibly actually charged with a crime, for messing over, young girls and women, we'll see where that goes. But then good old Robert Kraft, the one who spoke the loudest about Cap kneeling and the whole football NFL thing, and his little habit of having sex with sex slaves. But that, folks, yes, R. Kelly, yeah, I heard your name. We got you, man. We got you. So how about this? Let's go ahead and roll into our first clip and get to it.
All right, this first clip is going to be, I got the Robert Kraft clip showing. That's the wrong clip. All right, but the first clip that we are going is Jussie Smollett. Now, if you've been living under a rock, you haven't heard this man's name. But so we have taken the absolute chance so people can't say they don't know who this guy is. This is a quick synopsis of what happened. Jussie Smollett.
Jussie Smollett's attack. Every day there seems to be more and more questions. It's crazy.
Bizarre turn of events, to say the least. Tonight, there are new claims he set the whole thing up. Now Jussie's family and celebrities are speaking out.
Who the would make something like this up or add something to it or whatever it may be?
This case just got even more twisted today thanks to a new tip. According to Chicago PD, a witness says they saw Jussie and the two brothers together in an elevator near the crime scene the night of the alleged attack.
What people need to hear It's just the truth.
The Empire star, his family, and his legal team continue to insist he's innocent, and police say Jussie still remains neither a victim nor a suspect as of yet.
If Smollet is not telling the truth, he's facing about 3 years in jail.
The latest stunning development involving Jussie, Ola and Abel Osundairo, follows a whirlwind of allegations which has everyone from Hollywood
I'm really disappointed.
to Chicago confused about what to believe and what role the brothers may have played in a possible hoax.
They are not suspects in this case.
Jussie has told authorities the men in the surveillance video are the brothers.
I don't have any doubt in my mind.
One was an extra on Empire, and there are also reports tonight that Jussie's role on the Fox show is being diminished.
I just want them to find them.
Either this guy's telling the truth, or he deserves an Emmy.
Robin Roberts, who did the ABC interview, weighed in on GMA.
At that time, police officers were saying that his account was credible.
Police say they want to talk to Jussie again about the alleged attack and this hate letter, which was mailed to the Empire set.
The letter is being investigated by the FBI. The question is his motive in the most recent allegation, is this crime that he staged, the hate crime, have anything to do with the lack of attention that he got to the letter that was sent to him, allegedly?
A lot happened over the 3-day weekend with this story. It just kept developing.
So that was a quick synopsis of what happened a little while ago with my man Jussie Smollett. But now as we all know, Jussie has been not only arrested, but now he's been arrested and charged with more or less creating a fake police report. So the evidence that the Chicago PD brought out were everything from phone records. Well, he paid these guys with a check, number one. So let's start with that. Go ahead.
Is that not the appropriate payment method if you're going to do an illegal act?
I think you'd want to pay in cash, but so everyone knows what happened. So Jussie Smollett forgets that police are going to look at your phone records. Police are going to look. So they looked at the phone records and saw Jussie Smollett's contacting these guys. You know, come to find out, this guy was selling Jussie Smollett. What did they sell him? Ecstasy. They call him Molly on the street. So they selling him ecstasy. Jussie forgets all this, supposedly forgets that one guy's his personal trainer. And correction, both the guys had actually been on the show. One was one of Jussie's love interests in the show. So they're all in the show. And Jussie says he doesn't know them. He didn't know them. Now, obviously, he does, and he paid them with a check, and he bought the supplies too. Didn't he give him like $100 to actually buy the lynching supplies? So, and again,
you did not call them lynching supplies.
They bought a rope, right? They bought a rope, some ski masks, some lynching supplies. That's what they did. They went in like, yo, just imagine the strategy meeting for that thing. Like, yo, what should we get? And think about this. I don't know, if for those who don't live in the hood, there's like always a Chinese corner store in the hood, and them motherfuckers, they sell everything. Like this store just sold the red hats, the rope. Like this was like an all-in-one lynching store. Like they had it all. You wanted the MAGA hats, you wanted rope, you wanted ski mask, everything needed to lynch somebody. This store had it, and you just had to have for under $100 too. They got everything for under $100. So. But I digress. So, right now at this point, the police are alleging that he's made all this up, and the reason being is that he wanted a raise in his salary. So, do you guys believe Jussie made this up, or do you believe that he was actually attacked and he's actually the victim?
Yeah, just from what when I first heard about this with the bleach and the slurs and it seemed like a perfect storm. And I have to say this, like, you know what, the black man in me wanted to go, man, here we go again. You know, these crazy, MAGA field idiots. Got hopped up on some orange man juice, and that he doing some crazy shit. But then I sat back and I said, this reminds me a lot of when you have certain folks of that nature like fake being attacked by somebody black. Like it's a perfect storm of it's like it becomes a caricature of what you think these people would do in this scenario. Just like the guy who he wrote "Blacks Rule," in black paint on his driveway.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, black people don't refer to themselves as black, so we knew something was up.
Blacks rule, yeah, that's true.
Yeah, like nobody says that. But then like this is like, so what white persons walk around with a jug of bleach to throw them? Like they're not gonna do that.
No, you know what? Let's do this. Let's take this from the beginning because you're right. When I first heard this story, I had some doubts too. Number one, who the hell's walking around with a rope in their back of their pocket and some bleach on a sub-0 degree day in Chicago?
Right.
And you're at a black Chicago. So that did bring up the whole this shit is a little funny, but I got a actor who's making $100,000 on a hit show. Why would he make something like this up? You know what I'm saying? It just made you. Why would he make something like this up? I don't know. Did you guys have any doubts at the beginning?
Yeah, I did.
I didn't know. I didn't know enough, so I didn't have an issue or opinion in the beginning. Because we've seen a couple stories where it was believed to be one thing and it turned out to another thing. So I thought he did get attacked in the beginning, but I just didn't know what the actual reason was. So
you didn't have any doubts about like who the hell would be just walking around carrying bleach in a winter day and looking for a nigga with a rope? It's like it just kind of made me think like what?
Well, the idea of somebody like I didn't know if all the facts were together because I'm like how would you know? Hey, they had a bottle of bleach with them. I'm like if I like
when was the last time you had a bottle of bleach with you?
Yeah, no, but I'm like, they could have had a bottle of something with them, but maybe it wasn't bleach.
You know what part that also too, as a former officer too, another part that kind of spooked me a little bit, but it just shows you how liberal I am because I believe this was true too. Is when they said when the police, like an hour later, when the police came to investigate, he still had this goddamn rope around his neck. I'm like, well, he didn't take the rope off? Like, that's the first thing. Like, oh my God, they had, I'm the one. He walked home with the rope and sat in his living room and was like, yo, when the police come, they're going to believe this is more real because the rope is still around my neck. You know what I'm saying? Who does that?
Well, I'm like, somebody who's trying to sell a narrative would do that.
That's true. Like if I threw a rope around your neck, the Invisible Man, you would after I left, you would take the rope off, right? You wouldn't like leave the rope as evidence, right?
Yeah, no, that would have been left at the scene of where it happened because that would have been the first thing I would have done.
I don't know, but Drag, you said you had some issues with it too.
Yeah, well, just mentioning the rope around the neck, I'm like, well, I didn't want to disrupt the evidence. Like, okay, no, brother, just man to man, what evidence did you think that was going to be on there? Maybe some fingerprints, maybe some some fibers, maybe some skin cells, but they can easily eliminate your stuff from your attackers, right? If you think that there's evidence on there, they're gonna eventually find yours because it's touching you. So the fact that he laid there for like over 45 minutes with a noose around his neck, I don't know anybody who would do some shit like that. Like it was too crazy. Wait, that's like saying, you know what, this dude beat me with this metal pipe and I let the metal pipe sit next to me, just in case y'all wanted to, I stayed next to it so y'all could find it. And it's like, no, you gonna put this over there. I don't want to look at what I was just attacked with. That's like, hell, I don't know.
And these,
but to the point.
And think about how great these attackers had to be too. Let's think about how great. Number one, his flight was delayed coming back. So even if you was like following him or whatever, you got to wait 4 hours for his flight to get back from the right amount of time. And this is 2 a.m. in the morning. So it was a little fantastical, but I believed it because I didn't believe this cat would have any motive to lie. But like who would lie about something like this? Somebody on top, because this cat was on top.
Well, I'm thinking there may be some mental illness there because that's like to do this kind of shit. You have to be a little bit fucked up in the head.
Hell yeah! Yes, go ahead, Drag.
I'm sorry, man. It's just like the motivation, like that that's probably one of the things that I would have never guessed. I would have, and I still don't, even knowing now that he claims that, well, the motivation was I wasn't getting paid enough. I wasn't sure how that was, like, him being attacked and him being victimized. How was that going to, did Lee Daniels say, "Oh, you poor baby, let me give you a few thousand more"? Like, how was that supposed to translate to more money?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what the thinking there was. Like, yo, they just gonna pay me because I was like, beat. I don't know. I don't know. He sent, and they think the letter's fake too. They think he sent himself the letter. Like, this guy fucked it all up. You know what I'm saying? Like, he couldn't get the letter part right.
Dear Jesse, you stank homo. I hate you, and your mugshots make you look like a sheep's butthole. Like, I have no idea what it actually said, but judging by the competency, from this scheme, I expect some shit like that. Like, I would actually like to see the hate letter that was sent, because that has to be far-fetched too.
But listen, I got to keep it 100. That interview he gave with Robin Roberts, that motherfucker's a good actor. He convinced me, but that Robin Roberts interview, I was like, this motherfucker, either he lying or he need to win the Academy Award, because this guy got me believed right now.
Oh yeah. Oh, did you see the parody? Did you see the parody of it?
No, I didn't see it. What happened?
You didn't see the? Oh, you know what? I completely forgot about the parody, and I'm talking slow right now because I'm trying to find it, because I actually want you to play it for people. They're like, people. Have you seen the memes at least? Have you seen? I found it. Have you seen the memes?
Yeah, I've seen the memes. I've seen them.
Oh man, they're relentless. I hope nobody ever make no damn memes about me like this shit, because I would have to quit everything. I gotta quit life overall. So
oh
here,
my God.
I'm gonna put it in the chat here and see if you can play, because I can keep talking. But yeah, see if you can just play that, because that dude who did this is too damn much. Yeah, which parody? The parody of the dude with the red bandana, and he's pretending to be Jussie, and he's doing that Robin Meade interview to the beat of Riders from Tupac. And I was like, man, that's a sick flow. And he was talking about like how sexy his attackers were, and he was trying to grab their meat. And
What?
Yeah, I'm telling you, it is too funny.
What are you doing to me right now?
I'm just like, it's hilarious. It's sad. Like, I shouldn't laugh, but that's the thing. I shouldn't laugh at it. I should not laugh at it.
Yes, you should.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is crazy. Hold on.
Man.
Well, now, matter of fact, I can't play this one right now. Oh, I thought this was a YouTube clip. See, I had everything set up for YouTube, and now you sent me a Facebook clip.
Yeah, I'm trying to find the one for. I'm pretty sure there's a YouTube. What's this dude's name? I can't remember this guy's name. Mr. Bank Shot. Okay. Let me see if I can look up Mr. So in the meantime.
Well, hold on. Well, one thing now, what I do want to ask everyone, even out there in the chat world, because I know that the chat is always the place. All right now, so we've all heard the story of Jussie Smollett. All right, throw it in the chat. I'll grab it. So listen, if you believe Jussie Smollett is innocent, if you believe that he is telling the truth, downvote this video. Downvote this video. If you believe he is telling the truth, press thumbs down. If you believe that he is telling the truth, if you think Jussie Smollett is a liar, if you think he is a lying piece of shit, give us a like, and that's going to be our voting system today. I'm so confident because I think he's full of shit myself. I'm liking the video myself and shit. I'm self-liked the video. So let's see. Right now it's 3-0. I think people were voting before I started.
What person devil? So one of y'all out there, believe, one of y'all.
I won't say I was doing it to troll, but
this motherfucker. You believe Jussie?
No, I
you believe Jussie? Now don't get me done. That one thing I think is messed up is that like Ann Coulter came out and said all hate crimes are fake, like shit like that. Like you gotta worry about shit like that. You know what I mean?
Well, I'm like, you got people like Jesse Lee Peterson saying that there is no racism.
Yeah. Like when people say I believe all victims, it's like I always say this: it's trust but verify, right? You trust the victims, but you got to verify their story. You know what I mean?
I'll start off with I'll start off with the belief that maybe a crime has occurred, but it may not be how the victim puts it, per se.
Of course. Well,
yeah.
What I'll say too is sometimes you got to look at the stats, and if we just if you take what is it the FBI said when you have these type of hate crimes or even sexual assaults, it's between 2 to 8% of them are false reports.
Yeah.
So you're talking about out of 100 cases, maybe between 2 and 8 are fake. So 90%, over 90% of the time, if someone comes and tells you I've been attacked or I've been sexually assaulted, they're telling the truth. You know what I'm saying? And it's sad because this one story now, this one fucking guy lying. He's one of the two motherfuckers that lied. You know?
Yeah. I'm like the problem is how high profile this case is as well, because this is going to affect so many like cases going into the future, because it's going to be the automatic response for like conservative news media is going to be like, it's not a hate crime because of Jussie Smollett.
Yeah, that's what people are talking about, is that the backlash from this. Well, this the Chicago police haven't really wasted any resources. This isn't going to affect anything. People are just saying that. And the reality is, yes, some resources were used simply because he's a celebrity. And the issue is that, yes, there was a Coast Guard, second lieutenant Coast Guard, who was planning to carry out some racist and politically motivated attack, and that got overshadowed because a fucking celebrity, got attacked. Like, obviously,
nobody cared about that.
Yeah, nobody cared about it. Well, but then I heard the interpretation was that, well, the reason why was because homophobia and this, that, and the other, and whatever. And it's like,
which one sells more?
Well, it's true. The celebrity being attacked is going to sell more because, mind you, both of them were racially related, right? But then one's race and sexual orientation, and then you add celebrity on there, like that, like you have it compounded, like that amplifies it to the nth degree, because of celebrity. Because if it was just a racial attack versus a potential racial attack, one's more interesting than the other. One will deal with firearms and a potential bloodshed. But then you have celebrity in there, that tilts the scale incredibly.
Think about, like, if this was any other week that you had because the fact that he was a white domestic terrorist would have been major headlines.
Yeah, because that adds to a growing narrative that white people committing certain crimes aren't actually labeled terrorism because terrorists can only look different than white people. Like, it adds to that particular narrative, which has its own validity to it, right? But now, rather than saying, okay, maybe we should not be giving way to these celebrities, maybe we should not be treating them, as demigods, it's gone in a direction that I don't think is constructive. It's anything for the narrative. It's anything for, it's just, I don't know. Like, it's hard for me to get inside the head of people who are just so married to their ideology and to their narrative that they'll contort reality around it.
But don't forget, it does cut both ways for these celebrities, because even though they do get handled with kid gloves, if another person would have done this, I don't think they would be getting charged with a felony. You know what I'm saying? Because people make up shit all the time. And when they do, it's usually a slap on the wrist, don't do it again, pay a fine or something like that, or maybe even pay for the police resources. But actually to be charged is a rare thing. And I think he's being charged because it was such a public event and a public shaming. Like this happened and so many people came forward. It was kind of like, this guy we're going to make an example out of. And that brings me to my last question about this. Do you think it's going to hamper other victims that come forward? Because that's usually the thing. The reason generally why they don't charge people with false reports, even with rapes and things of that nature, is because they're always afraid that it may stop other victims from coming forward. So do you guys think that it's going to have a chilling effect?
That's a hard thing to draw, because I think you're just gonna have to look at the reporting rates in the future, going forward versus what happened prior to. I don't think we can make a good assumption because this is a one-off event.
Well, let me do this. Let me play the clip that Drag had, so we can see what's going on with Jussie Smollett, aka the gay Trump.
What happened that night, Jussie?
Y'all bet not try it. I did not hire them brothers to jump me. It was cold out there in the street. Fought back by grabbing their cheeks. I can't deny it. I got excited when them Africans grabbed me. They were swollen over 6 feet. All I saw was fist and meats. I'm not a fighter or a gay liar, just an actor from TV. They use rope, some mask, and bleach. Like me, they thought shit was sweet. I am a rider, not the horse kind, sir. Talking about riding that deep. Not from France, but I like that we. Not Taraji, but I got the cookie.
Thank you, Jussie. What happened that night, Jussie?
Yeah. Just the.
Oh my God.
The amount of memes and parodies that have spawned from, like, that's the only good thing that I saw from this. These damn memes.
I'm happy I saw that.
Oh my God. That was pretty good too. That was pretty good.
He deserves a medal.
No, that was good. That was good. But shit. But so do we want to get into which Robert we want to tackle? Because
the next one is so since we go from fake hate crimes, let's go to the one that's actually real, which is not the hate crime, but a sexual. Now we're going from hate to sexual assaults.
Which one that's a crime?
That's true. Which one's a crime? And both of them are sex crimes. Let's go to. Should we do Robert Kelly first, or should we do Robert Kraft? It's funny. Both their initials are RK and shit.
Oh yeah, sure. Let's do R. Kelly.
All right, so R. Kelly. So everybody knows about the star R. Kelly, and now you know what the problem is that I love so many of this guy's songs from back in the day. It's like ridiculous, but this is him turning himself into the police, and people are seeing on the screen now. He was charged with a whole bunch of shit. So I'm gonna let ABC News tell it to you because they're gonna be easy. It's gonna be easier for them to tell it to you than I am. So here's what's going on this week with Robert Kelly. This is a hard week for R&B. Hard week.
Next to the stunning developments in a Chicago courtroom, R&B star R. Kelly jailed. The judge setting bond at $1 million. The singer turning himself into police last night. You see him there on charges he sexually abused 4 young women, including 3 minors. These allegations dating back as far as 1998. The judge ordering Kelly to have no contact with his alleged victims or anyone underage. ABC's Lindsay Davis takes us inside that courtroom.
Embattled R&B singer R. Kelly hounded by reporters as he emerged from his Chicago recording studio overnight to turn himself into authorities.
What do you want to say to your fans?
Kelly arrested and handcuffed, charged with sexually abusing 4 young women. The singer appearing before a judge today on 10 counts of aggravated criminal sexual assault. The prosecutor's office saying they have DNA evidence and also what they call an incriminating sex tape of Kelly. As they describe the alleged incidents in graphic detail, Kelly stood without reaction.
The victim met Robert Kelly on her 16th birthday.
Authorities say 3 of those alleged victims were between the ages of 13 and 17 when the incidents reportedly took place between 1998 and 2010. The judge called the allegations against Kelly disturbing and ordered him held on $1 million bond. Kelly was ordered to turn over his passport and not have any contact with the alleged victims or anyone 18 years old or younger. Inside the courtroom, Kelly's 2 current girlfriends, Azriel Clary and Joycelyn Savage, who their parents both describe as brainwashed hostages. Azriel's parents sat just feet away from their daughter, unable to get her to acknowledge them.
Any reaction from the Clarys as far as seeing their daughter inside the courtroom today and attempting to contact her?
Well, it's a very emotional moment for them. They brought those two young ladies here today for the cameras. They brought them here in an effort to send the message that all is well with Robert Kelly and there's nothing untoward about his conduct.
R. Kelly's attorney vehemently denies the allegations against him.
We'll start fighting the charges.
While arguing for bond for Kelly, an attempted humor from Kelly's attorney, who told the judge he wasn't a flight risk because, quote, contrary to the song, he doesn't like to fly.
Likely a bizarre moment right there in court, and Lindsay Davis joins us now. She was also in that courtroom. Lindsay, R. Kelly has won 3 Grammys, so many hit songs, and he wasn't able to post his bond. What are his lawyers saying tonight?
Yeah, his lawyer told the judge in court today that Kelly's finances are a mess, that he currently doesn't have any income coming in from tours or royalties. Unrelated to this, he owes more than $160,000 in back child support payments. He's due back in court on Monday. Tom?
R. Kelly remaining behind bars tonight. All right, Lindsay, thank you.
Wait, 160,000?
Hold on, say that one more time.
Wait, did he? Oh, wait, hold on. I just caught the amount of child support.
160,000 in back pay child support. How many kids does he have?
160,000?
Yeah. Does he have 1 million kids? Like.
No, but don't forget, for best interest of the child, when you're paying child support, it's based on how much the parents actually earn.
Oh, okay.
So if he's earning $1 million, 17% of $1 million is a lot of fucking money. What's it, about 117 grand, 170,000?
Okay.
Yes, he only has 3 kids: Jay, Robert, and Joanne. So I was about to say, he sounds like DMX, man. Because DMX, fucking 20-something kids.
Yeah, but remember, it's a percentage of your income. So,
yeah, and DMX is broke, so.
Yeah, so they're probably not getting shit. I know a cat that was paying like $25 a month in child support. I'm like, oh man, that's the dream.
Jeez, but man, yeah. So, like, we were talking about this beforehand, and my wife had to remind me because I was like, wasn't he in court a few years ago?
It was a trial. He had a trial.
A trial, and I was like, I remember seeing back when I was like 16, right? And I first heard about it in high school. Hey, did y'all see that R. Kelly sex tape? What you mean R. Kelly sex tape? So we all went home. We all got on VirusWire, LimeWire. We all know what it was, and we downloaded it. And sure enough, I'm like, that is R. Kelly, and I'm like, that girl looks my age.
Wasn't me.
Holy fuck. And I'm just flabbergasted because I thought it was a joke. Like, I thought people were fucking with me. And so I'm like, I should probably get this off my computer. But yeah, like a lot of us saw that, right? And I was like, how is this guy not arrested? Like, you have video evidence. You could tell that she's underage.
Well, he did the best defense. It wasn't me.
It wasn't.
Yeah,
me.
and she said it wasn't her. You got the girl saying it's not her. He's saying it's not him.
Yeah. I love how they said R. Kelly showed up with his 2 girlfriends. Like, I was like, oh, it's like that. But
just showing that he's still macking. He got 2 of them, and they so brainwashed. They said, they're not even looking at their parents. But it shows you. But think about it though. Let's say if you were a teenager, 15, 16, and you see like the star that you've always wanted to see, like, oh my God, that's the person, and that person wants to have sex with you, Who did you have a crush on when you were 16? I'm trying to think of who I had a crush on when I was 16.
Madonna? I don't know. Just trying to think.
I had a crush on Mariah Carey for a little bit. I don't know.
What's the chick's name from?
Serena Valentina.
Probably. I don't know.
But I'm saying, just imagine if that person, you met that person, and that person wanted to give you some ass. Are you saying no to that?
No.
Oh, no. That's an immediate yes.
Exactly. So think about how these girls are. They're like, oh my God, he said yes. He talking about me.
Yeah, but one of them was like way underage for any state.
Yeah, but from what I understand, some of the parents knew about it. Some of the parents were signing off on some of these exchanges. So that's kind of what bothers me. It's like, where are the parents at? But
yeah, I don't know if the parents can be like, yeah, our daughter's between because one of them's between 14 and 16.
Yeah.
So I don't think the parents can be like, yeah, you can have sex with our daughter. That's fine.
Well,
Like,
even though some of these statutory rape is a state by state thing, because I know like Jimmy Lewis, he got married to his wife when she was like 14, I think it was, because in that state. And matter of fact, in New York State for a long time, you could actually get married to a 14-year-old legally here in New York State. I think they're trying to change it.
I thought you still couldn't have sex with them until they were legal age, or yeah.
Yeah, some of these.
Well, I mean, his is actually a cult.
I don't know if people can't hear him. Is your audio on?
Yeah, I think my audio went out for a second. It's on. It's back though.
Yeah. So, some of the women that I hear that he's with, because this isn't the first time that people hear about this R. Kelly and his like sex cult like that, because there was a woman I remember a few months ago that was talking about this on, I think it was might have been the Breakfast, I think it was the Breakfast Club actually, and they were talking about how he grooms women. Even he likes to start young, but even for older, well, I say older women who are of age, that he has them dress a certain way, refer to him a certain way, like it's very, very strict as to how they are to engage. And, if they're not into women, they're going to be into women. It is very, very coercive. And it is it is interesting that he is able to do this sort of thing. But then the dynamics of, okay, well, if some of these young girls do know what the score is, like they know what the law is, they understand that their relationship with an older man can potentially result in illegal action, legal action, and it is illegal. What does that say about the mentality of the potential victim? And then that kind of goes, well, it gets into victim blaming, and is there a real onus to be put on young women who actively seek these types of engagements?
Well, the thing is that we got to think about it from the perspective of why is this law in effect, and the reason statutory rape laws are in effect is because we're saying this person who doesn't have that mental maturity to make this decision with their body, this person can't consent to saying yes to an adult male. This guy R. Kelly, he's 50, 60 years, however old he is. But when you have somebody who's 13, they're just not mentally capable of actually making informed consent. They don't understand the consequences of if they do this particular act, what could actually happen. They may just know babies come from here or this would happen, but they really can't appreciate it. And that's the reason why these laws say, well, no matter what the age, no matter what if this 13-year-old came into his house butt naked saying, please have sex with me, we understand that her mental capacity is not one where that's what we'd expect an adult who also does that. We'd say that person knows what they want to do. That person has the ability and the choice to make it. And even if it's an adult too, let's say if it's an adult who is has some mental condition that doesn't allow them to that has the mind of like a 12-year-old. If he was to have sex with her, that would actually be a form of rape, because we'd say that she wasn't able to consent. So that's what we're really talking about. And if what they're saying is true, that he's taking young women that are underage and manipulating them like this, then this is what the law is meant to protect against guys like this.
Yeah. Yeah, thank you for actually explaining that too, because that is a conversation that does come up, you know, fairly often, and I think it gets dismissed without people actually discussing, well, why are these exchanges? Why do we have these different laws, and what is not acceptable? Now, of course, that's not anyone advocating to go have sex with underage girls, but it is, how do we discuss a behavior in which you have the groupie effect, because you even hear such as David Bowie's young fans explain to people that back in that day that was acceptable and people knew about it, but people trying to impart their morality on the past isn't necessarily fair.
You guys remember back in the day, and think about how far we've come. Remember back in the day, like the honeymooners. He was like, boom, bam, zoom, right to the moon. That was fucking, spousal abuse. He was talking about beating his wife's ass because she wasn't doing what he was saying. And remember the one with the secretary running around the desk from the boss? He comes in every morning. His thing is to go chase her down and feel her up. It was like, and that was funny. That was but now. That we know that now that's sexual assault. So
the old Hanna-Barbera cartoons.
Pepe Le Pew, they be looking for him right now for multiple sex crimes.
Yep.
Baby, it's like, oh man.
She said no, fool. She said no.
Well, I mean, Daphne from Scooby-Doo.
I gotta get what happened with Daphne from Scooby-Doo. Yeah,
I'm trying to remember, man.
So every single time during an episode, she would get kidnapped by the villain usually.
Always.
One.
Yeah. What dudes? Whoever you would be going to jail anyway. So
yeah.
Just add that.
But there's a lot more. Go ahead, Drake.
They'll say you were sexually assaulting this young teen while you were committing this crime. Well, so 6 of this, half a dozen of the other. Whatever. Just add to the list.
Yeah, but that show had a lot more problems because the fucking we had a guy who was actually eating fucking dog food. And the dog food made him more powerful and shit.
Well, like, what they were Scooby snacks.
Yeah.
Yeah, Scooby snacks, right?
Hey, I would want a Scooby snack.
We're gonna pretend that's what it was. Okay.
Well, I mean, it was an edible, but I mean, it was.
it was an edible that make the motherfucker super strong, and he can actually beat up the monsters and all that. I mean, what the hell, dog biscuit he been eating?
They just had a little bit of like anabolic steroids in them.
Short term, yeah. Short-term steroids, but anyway.
But yeah, Bus is always smoking, and he eating dog food in the back. Scooby was all fucked up, man.
Yeah, fucking. Anyway.
So R. Kelly.
Yeah, his ass is going to jail. $1 million bond.
Do you?
Do
you think he's gonna do like like a Simpson? OJ?
Oh, but he got off before. So he'd have to go 2 for 2.
But the difference here is that they're corroborating witnesses. That's the difference.
Well, they got another tape, and the tape wasn't good last time. I'd have thought with the tape last time, I'd have thought he was good, but now you got a tape this time.
is the female gonna say it was her?
Well, this time she's saying it's her. She's saying it's her.
Yeah, I think it's 2 of them. Right?
Yeah, they got 3. I think they got 3, and they got DNA evidence too.
They have 4.
Damn, 4.
I think.
Yeah, no, his ass is going up.
Yeah, and they got DNA evidence too. So this may be a different story. But shit, R. Kelly. So they got Jussie Smollett. This is just not a good week for R&B. This is not a good week for R&B.
I'm just saying they're bringing down the black culture.
That's true.
No. Mystical, because he can't keep his ass out of jail because he keep fucking sexually assaulting folks and doing crazy shit. No, Mystical is lowering the bar there.
Listen, I honestly just want to know what the hell store they went to get all these lynching supplies, because it was a one-stop shop. They bought the hats and everything from the same goddamn store.
They went to like a Halloween decoration store.
I don't know. They had it all.
Bleach?
Bleach too? You got the bleach? Oh, shit. We didn't even have to go to 2 stores.
Yeah.
I would expect them to go to a Walmart for something like that. They went to a corner store and it was like, yo, we need red hats. Like, think about that list. Like, when you talking, she must have been like, I need two ski masks, red hats that look like the Make America Great Again hat. Those hats. I need some rope, like the lynching type rope, and we need some gloves and some chewing gum.
Well, I'm like everybody knows that guy that you can you can just get everything from.
Yeah. They didn't even have to go to another store.
You must have like being the clerk for these guys. Like you must have thought like, what the fuck is going on?
They're about to have a good time.
Because I used to work for Home Depot, right? And I used to see people buying ropes and chains and shit like that. And then I was like, man, if this dude pick up some lie, I'm walking away. I ain't gonna be no fucking witness to nothing. Go look at the guards, wherever the hell you need, and I'm looking the other way.
Shit, I would have if I would have known that, I would have literally drove to your Lowe's and literally bought some lie from you.
I would have walked the fuck away. You can ask my wife. When people would do crazy, people say crazy shit, I just walk away. Like, I'm not dealing with that. Not today, Jesus. Not today.
I've just been like, hey, Mr. Memes. Yeah. Do you know good chemical for disposing a body?
I do not. I don't know what you're talking about. You go ask somebody in the garden. But there was this motherfucker that would tell people that shit. Like he would just, he was a store stoner, so he would just openly talk. Yeah, we want to get rid of body. Yeah, man, we got plenty of lie back here, man. Yeah. Like, why are you telling them that? Why would you do that? I'm just crazy as hell. Man, they're not gonna do it. Like, you don't fucking know that dude. You probably bury your ass next, because now you're a witness. Not today.
Well, listen, before we get too wrapped up, we got one more Robert to talk about.
Yes, Robert Kraft.
So yeah, for now, there's gonna be a lot of people who don't know who this guy is if you don't know football. So I'm just gonna play the clip and let you guys hear.
He owns Kraft macaroni and cheese.
And the Patriot. He owns the Patriots. So this is.
I was joking about it. Is he actually the same Kraft for Kraft macaroni and cheese?
I don't know. But I know he's a billionaire, so whatever the fuck his name is.
He might. We're gonna say it today.
Here it is, Robert Kraft. Let's see what he's in trouble for.
The billionaire owner of the New England Patriots, Robert Kraft, charged with the solicitation of a prostitute. Authorities say it's part of a major crackdown on alleged prostitution and that nearly 200 people could also be charged. The news comes just weeks after his team won its 6th Super Bowl. Now Kraft has been swept up in this widespread investigation of prostitution. Prosecutors say Kraft twice paid for a sex act at this strip mall massage parlor, and they say they have surveillance to prove it. ABC's Victor Akendo is in Jupiter, Florida tonight.
Tonight, the billionaire owner of the Super Bowl champion New England Patriots, Robert Kraft, embroiled in scandal. Florida officials making the shocking announcement the 77-year-old has been charged with solicitation of prostitution.
That would be Mr. Robert Kraft.
Robert Kraft, the owner of the New England Patriots?
Yes, sir.
Kraft among nearly 200 charged in a sweeping prostitution ring. Authorities saying they have video evidence of Kraft visiting the Orchids of Asia day spa on 2 occasions, engaging in a sex act.
And did it seem like he was there as a regular?
I would say, going through the evidence, yes.
In a statement, a spokesperson for Kraft saying, "We categorically deny that Mr. Kraft engaged in any illegal activity. Because it is a judicial matter, we will not be commenting further." Kraft, whose Patriots won their 6th Super Bowl earlier this month,
Once again, the Patriots are world champions.
is close friends with President Trump.
No team has been this good for this long.
The president asked about it today in the Oval Office.
It's very sad. I was very surprised to see it. He's proclaimed his innocence totally, but I'm very surprised to see it.
Jupiter police say their investigation has been going on for 6 months and includes evidence the women were victimized by spa owners. Authorities claim they found indications the women were living on the premises.
Our concern in this investigation centers around our possibility of victims of human trafficking.
The alleged solicitation involving Kraft happened about a month ago and is a misdemeanor. As for NFL policy, it mandates stricter rules for owners than players. For now, the NFL only saying The NFL is aware of the ongoing law enforcement matter and will continue to monitor developments.
All right. So let's get to Victor Akendo with us live tonight from Jupiter, Florida. We know that business is now closed, Victor. Authorities have said they are in the process of issuing about 200 arrest warrants. Robert Kraft and his lawyers awaiting his.
David, it is just a matter of time. We're told it could come as early as Monday. He could face 60 days in jail, possibly 6 months probation as well. David, we're talking about some 200 people here. It's unclear tonight if some other big names could be included as well. David?
All right, Victor, thank you.
Now, what the hell's he doing at a fucking strip mall, fucking day spa, getting his dick sucked? Like,
well, why do they got to fit the stereotype though? Why does it got to be the Asian massage part? I'm like,
like,
what?
Well,
okay.
I used to go to them. I used to go to strip mall. It wasn't a strip mall. It was an actual mall. But yeah,
I'm like, where do you think you're gonna go for the one with the happy ending, Nate? Strip.
Yeah.
Shit. Why can't he just have like what? Isn't he married though? Oh, okay. Okay. But because I'm like at that point I would have just been like, all right, I'm just gonna take one of them home. She's gonna live there.
yeah, that's true. That's true. I don't know. I feel like if this guy's he's a billionaire. He could. There's got to be better places. If I had $1 billion, I'm not going to the strip mall to get no. You know what I'm saying? It's just not happening. You know what I'm saying? I'm above that level at this point. You know?
Yeah, I'm like, why is he going to the strip mall for the happy ending? Why isn't he just calling a like high class escort?
I'm doing. Wouldn't you?
Yeah.
I got $1 billion. Why am I taking a chance? I gotta drive there and shit. I gotta go and now they got me all on camera. They got him all on camera. You know?
I'm like, I'm assuming he had to be getting something out of like the thrill that he was like doing something that like a common person would do.
I think that is part of it too, because you can hire a high class, or even here in Houston, like it's actually if you attend any type of social events downtown, you'll see quite a few. But it is obvious, like there's no way that this chick is with this dude, because if you look at Robert Kraft's face, it looks like what you think
Kraft mac and cheese.
No, it looks like whatever you imagine Darth Dawkins' balls to look like. Like that's how this dude's face looks. He's not winning any type of a beauty contest anytime soon. So, he just needs some relief. He needs a bit of reprieve. And so he is going to find it the easiest way he can. But even I would think someone of his stature would have a handler that could say, hey, I need you to go pick up somebody, for a fancy time. Right. But I've learned that a part of the thrill is that I am here doing this among the common. I am here because he.
No, wait. Where are you hearing this from?
Who
was talking in your ear?
If you go to motherless.com, you'll get people who admit to some very, very weird things. I'm not saying people should go there because I stopped reading those forums for a reason, but yeah, like it is interesting what people get off on, and being in a cheap massage parlor where those women. But think about it; those women aren't going to know who he is. Like he knew what type of women were there.
They just getting off the boat. They probably just took them out some shipping containers. Like, yo, welcome to America. Now you got to pay me back my $2 million that took me to get you here. Start dip massages, and that's how it is. And that's what I think the sad part about this is, because if they were involved in human trafficking, then he kind of on the low is involved in human trafficking.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh
I
my
mean,
God.
maybe he just had a taste for Asian women.
From the fucking local massage parlor, like
Yeah.
and he was a regular at this spot. This was like his spot. You know what I'm saying?
I'm like he just watched freaking Full Metal Jacket, and then he was like, all right, I need some of that.
Yeah, somebody asked where's his wife. His wife died. His wife died like I think 4 or 5 years back. So, maybe it got lonely, or maybe he was doing this while she was alive. I don't know. I don't know about that, but this guy, unfortunately, it's a billionaire going into a local strip mall to get his,
Get his rocks off. Yeah. Hey, even at his old age, they still work. They still need attention.
That's what they make Viagra for.
Yeah,
that's true.
Well, you gotta have somebody use Viagra on. So.
Poor Robert Kraft. Look, he's going up. He can do what? He can go to jail or do 60, and I don't know. It just seems like this is like an overreach. Soliciting prostitution. Yeah. Now it does come to this: should prostitution be legal?
Here we go. There we go. See, now my issue is that I don't find it necessary that prostitution be illegal. Like I don't like, for me, I'm not a huge fan of these victimless crimes, except in this case it's different. These are victims of sex trafficking.
Well, if the more legal the thing is, the less like it'll be like sex trafficking. Like there's countries that have it legalized, and they have much less reporting of sex trafficking than we do.
Yeah, I definitely agree that if we start to try and regulate this, that'll kind of cut down, because there is a market for it. Like, you're always going to have a market for for genitalia to be used in some way, shape, or form, and pretending as though somehow we're going to get over that is like.
I'm like you so if you were going to a prostitute and then you decided, all right, we're gonna shoot a movie and sell it somewhere, it's now legal because you're making pornography in certain places. But if you didn't shoot the video, then it's illegal. Like, that's some fucked up law. I'm like,
oh, you're talking about like because one is an artistic. It's interesting.
Yeah.
Huh. I don't know. I have to look that up, because I know you're right. If one is performance versus transactional. One is like a performance of art versus the transaction of.
Yeah, that's because that's how they get away with it for shooting pornography, because they're still technically paying the people for having sex, but since it's on film and it's being sold, that's it's not everywhere that you can, because there's still certain places that it's not allowed, and there's certain places where sodomy is against the law still. Like,
well, I think Drag was right. Right now they're talking about human trafficking now, and they're talking about people who are really, really, really these people are not doing it because they want to do it. These are people are making. If we're talking about a woman who's making an informed choice and saying, "This is how I want to make my money," that's different than I think what's happening with this guy.
But I mean, if you legalized like prostitution and escorting, like, you would have less sex trafficking. Like that'd be the way to combat that.
But don't forget, though, also with regulations do come a cost, because you have the cost of the enforcement, a cost of maybe getting licenses and all that stuff, and then a living wage and things of that nature. So I think there'll still be an underground economy for this. Well,
I mean, you can't.
Go ahead.
You can't make it 0%.
Yeah.
But I mean, you can decrease it, because would you rather go to the one who has to maintain some type of like health standards? Like, all right, all these prostitutes, they're checked for disease. You won't get any STDs from them. Or would you rather go to the John who you don't know?
But the thing is that there's a catch with that too, It's all dependent about price. Because if I can afford, I'm still going to get my rocks off, but if I can afford to go to the good place, and it's not going to hurt my pockets, then I'll do that. But if I can't afford it, then the crackheads are still going to be out there, $5 for a blowjob, okay, that's not going to hurt my rent.
But that's always going to be the case. That's the thing.
You're trying to mitigate it. So in other words, that's a small portion of the overall market.
Yeah. But I mean, people are gonna want to, like, people that go to prostitutes that are in committed relationships. They don't want the chance of them getting an STD.
That's true.
So I mean, they're gonna go to the regulated one.
Yeah. As they should. And as a matter of fact, if you're in a committed relationship, you should be doing the prostitute thing anyway. So
you should, but I mean, I'm not gonna say that everybody's perfect. So
no, not at all. Well, now you know what? Let's move to our last topic, and this is going to be the Invisible Man's topic, which we're talking about the Democratic hopefuls for 2020.
Okay.
Who's the people who are running for president? So we have 2 of these top 5 listed. Now you're seeing all the candidates who are potential candidates for Democrat.
So we're gonna do the top 5 from Washington Post.
All right, so we're gonna do. You said you had a top 5 and I had a top 5, right? So I'm gonna read.
Well, I had an old top 5.
All right, so you just want me to do the top 5 from the Washington Post?
Yeah.
All right, so let's look at the top 5. This is what the Washington Post have for their top 5 candidates for 2020. Number 5, and we'll talk about each one of them. Former Vice President Joe Biden. So
Now,
what do you got to think about Joe Biden?
I just want to reference an old quote of his that crushed his campaign in 2000 or going into 2008 elections.
Okay.
I mean, you've got the first sort of mainstream African American who is articulate and bright and clean and nice looking. I mean, that's a storybook, man. That is a quote of Joe Biden's talking about Barack Obama.
Yeah, he wouldn't bat in 1,000 with that comment.
Yeah, that was what crushed his campaign leading into 2008.
But Joe Biden's a gaffe machine, though. Remember when he was telling the guy to stand up in the wheelchair? He's like, "Oh, stand up, Jeff," and he's like, "Oh shit, Jeff's in a wheelchair." Oh.
Yeah.
You ever saw that clip, Drag?
No,
I've seen it. So every single time that he's run, there's been a scandal. So his 1988 try, there was a plagiarism scandal.
Oh yeah, we plagiarized the whole speech. I remember that.
Yeah. I mean, he's tried twice in the past and like utterly failed both times. He wasn't like number 2 pick. He wasn't anything highly rated in either try. And I mean, like, he's along the lines of Hillary Clinton candidate. So I mean,
he's that bad? You think he's a Hillary Clinton type candidate?
He's like claim to fame was with Obama administration, same policies, and those are the same policies that Biden wants to push forward. So I mean, like he may be a different style candidate, but I mean the issues he's still along that lines.
What do you think, Drag? What do you think about Joe Biden for president?
I wouldn't mind him. I mean, Barack had some confidence in him, and he did pretty good as a vice president, from my recollection. I wouldn't mind him in the running at all. I kind of expect a lot of white folks to have gaps when it comes to trying to articulate how they feel about black people, because they really don't know what to say unless they spend a lot of time around black people. And just if you are just known for gaffes, and that's just your thing, it's kind of a lovable attribute. But besides like that surface level stuff, a lot of his policies, from my recollection, I didn't have too much of an issue with. I think he has one of the more admirable qualities that I like about a person, is that he can learn, he can adjust, he can adapt when given new evidence. And I wouldn't mind Joe Biden.
My only problem with Joe Biden is that. Go ahead.
No, I just wanted to finish. I want him running because I want the corporatist vote split. So.
Well, one thing, like for me, Joe Biden is too centrist. Like right now, we're in a progressive movement. The Republicans have gone really right, and I think you need somebody more left. Joe Biden's kind of that middle of the road. He's a Democrat, but he's still got some of these conservative leanings. You know, he's that safe candidate. And now I'm thinking, like, you know, we went safe last time. Hillary Clinton was a safe candidate, you know, and that didn't work for us. So now it's just time to go hard. It's either go big or go home, you know, and that's what the Republicans did, and that's why Trump is president. They went big, and I think Uncle Joe, you know, I think he got too much baggage. Now, who's next on the list from number 5 to number 4? Number four list on the Washington Post. Most likely to win the Democratic nomination is my man up here, Cory Booker, senator from New Jersey. What do you guys think about Cory Booker? President Booker.
Fuck that.
So, Mr. Bookman, yeah, I got a chance to know just how deep the corporate is inside of his ass. I was not too familiar with him, but I do have a good friend, Alicia, and actually both of you have actually encountered Alicia, who has some very strong opinions of Cory Booker, and she has expressed nothing but ire towards his let's say spotty track record in her area, and she has zero confidence in him. And as from my recollection, she laid out a pretty good synopsis of why he would be more so interested in corporate interests than he lets on.
So he's great on social issues. He's very progressive in that aspect. So I'll give him that.
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
his thing of prison reform and other things, like in sentencing, very good. But that's the only industry that he actually works against corporate interests. So we like the most recent thing. So Bernie Sanders and other Democrats got together on a bill to allow for people to get medicine from Canada, which has cheaper drug prices. Cory Booker, like they were able to pull 12 Republicans over to their side. Cory Booker and 11 other Democrats decided to cross aisles and vote against it, which would have like massively helped people get lower drug prices. I'm like, he walks the walk on like social issues, but when it actually comes to helping people economically, he's just sucking the corporate dick. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
Cory Booker is taking their money, so yeah, that's what it's about.
Because I'm like you need for all of like the major issues, you need somebody that's gonna fight like corporate interest, and he's just not that man. I'll take Biden. I think Biden may fight corporate interest more than him.
Well, don't forget Booker also has the he has that it factor for that candidate. You know, he has that wide smile. Even though they say he's missing the significant other, which would hurt you in a presidential run because you always have to have the wife and kids or the husband and so forth. So.
I mean,
oh no, you guys are gonna.
Yeah. Yeah, but I mean, like you can look at the like corruption scandals that he had in his past, offices.
Corruption scandals.
Yes,
I had heard about something.
So he has a lot of corruption. Like there was the water treatment facility was having a lot of money laundered there to one of his old judicial partner or legal partners, and he was still getting paid by the legal firm, even though he left the law firm up until 2011. So he had left when he was first elected, and they were still paying him.
Still conflict of interest there.
Yeah, like he has some scandals in his thing. So, but like Biden, I want him running because he's gonna split the corporatist vote.
What you hear? That's up in your neck of the woods, MP. What do you think about our man, Mr. Bookman?
I don't know. I wouldn't be voting for Cory Booker. I think you guys are right. I think he's bought and paid for by the drug companies. That thing with the drug companies that we were talking about earlier, that was really shocking. But he's taking their money and he's taking their money. He's got the.
Yeah, Miss Warren. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. Wasn't she espousing some anti-vax stuff a little while back? I want to say it was her. I might have to actually do a quick Google search. Sorry, folks. I want to make sure.
Yeah,
but don't forget she goes by Pocahontas now.
Oh my lord.
Yeah. Well, no, that's Trump's title for her. But I mean, so she's very bad at managing issues like that. Like she's very bad at press releases and other things, as far as I've seen from her. So she gets herself into hot water more than from all of that, she's very unpopular in comparison to some of the other people, especially with independents.
But why is she so unpopular though?
It's just because of the way she handles like things. So she was the person that created the Consumer Protection Bureau.
Yes.
Yeah. It's like, no, she is backing vaccines. I don't know where I heard that from, but yeah. Okay. So I'm glad I was mistaken about that, but yeah, somebody had said that and I was shocked. I was like, okay, well, usually folks who are, on the left are pretty good about that, about not being fucking retarded when it comes to vaccines.
So would you say so if it's between her and Trump now Elizabeth Warren and Cory Booker, those two where it's like if the Republicans put anybody else other than Trump up, these people may not get my vote. Like it's that bad with these two.
So yeah, like I think out of the candidates, she is in my top 3 for who I'd want to see in the office, but I don't believe that she would beat Trump. So I would want her in the office, but I don't think she stands a chance in an open election.
What about you, Drag? Do you think she has a chance?
Not really. Like I like some of her positions. Yeah, the whole Pocahontas thing just threw me for a loop. It's like, of all the hills to die on, please. It just I that's kind of one of my pet peeves too. The white person who wants to be a minority so bad just to get cool points. That's really like, just come on, just like, we get it. Yeah, I'm a third white technically, but I don't go trumpeting that trying to get a better credit score. So just the fact that got blown up so much.
Well, and did she apply for it on her law school application? She put
no.
Oh my god.
So this was after she got accepted to the law school. This wasn't in order for her to get accepted or for her to get any special privilege. This was like so it didn't actually give her any material benefits.
It's bad enough. It's bad enough.
But I just wanted to make that clear that she wasn't like, all right, I got into law school because of this or anything like that.
Well, she bit a bullet there. Let's go to our next candidate.
Wait.
Go ahead.
We need a drum roll for this man. This is
number 2 on the top Democrats for 2020 is Mr. Bernie Sanders.
My man.
It's funny because Bernie's not even a Democrat. He's like number 2 on the top Democrats list.
Well, I mean, so he came second last time, and you had Donna Brazile like openly say that the DNC worked against him in order for him to not win.
So is this your top candidate? This is the guy who you want to win.
This is the guy that has consistently had polls that say that he beats Trump in an election. This is a person who has been like so many things, like he's a socialist and other things, and he's still the most liked politician in the country. He just broke in a first day record for funds raised.
Well, we know all the positives about Bernie, but there are some negatives. Negatives are, Bernie's wife just had a little issue with the FBI. I know a lot of people don't like to talk about that, but that's something that did happen.
Yes.
And let's not also forget, Bernie's It's that kind of how do you pay for it type scenario. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know,
well, I mean,
we
Bernie,
have all these great things. We want to spend all this money. We want to do all this stuff, but these things, they're not budget neutral. You know, it's going to cost a pretty penny. Go ahead.
I mean, so Bernie can effectively argue against those things, but his main negatives going into this election are that he's going to try to win on those issues, which is going to be a main problem. The fact that he's up in age, so do you actually want him running as the person, or do you want to go with, like, at least from the progressive side, with Elizabeth Warren, Tulsi Gabbard? Like, you have other people running that are progressive, so should they get the vote since they're younger, and maybe put him as the VP? Like, and then I mean, you have.
I don't think Bernie would take a VP spot though. I think he's too gone. Like, he's not taking a VP spot.
I think it would be good if you took at least a VP spot for another progressive, because that would majorly draw support to them. Because I mean, he's very good with independents. So I mean,
I think he wins independents.
Yeah, so I mean, if you had him as a VP, that's a very good for the general election.
Well, just so people know, I'm feeling the burn. So Burn's going to get my vote. If he makes it, he's getting my vote.
I'm feeling the burn, but like I'm trying to do his negatives, and his main negative is that everybody is running on the issues that he ran on.
What about the fact that if he was to win, he would be the oldest person? Period. He would be the oldest person in the world. No, let me stop. He would be the oldest person to ever win the presidency at like 79 years old. Like the vice president is like always on call because their presidency is worth a 79-year-old's heartbeat away. You know, that's what we're talking about.
But I mean, the thing is, he's not that much older than Trump. He's not that much older than Biden. Like Elizabeth Warren is only like 10 years younger than him. Like.
Yeah, but 10 years when you're 10 years between 69 and 79 is a hell of a 10 years. You know, he's still pushing like major progressive legislation. He's still in committee, like asking very, very pertinent questions, able to keep track of everything, so he's not showing any mental decline. But
he's still playing basketball.
Listen, hold on. Well, he not playing no real ball. You know, I mean, he might touch a basketball.
Okay,
but let's just keep it real. He's 79 years old. Home. He's 79 years old. You know, it's not like he's no spring chicken.
He's not in a nursing home though, and he's not out to pasture. Like, he's for a person that can actually get policy pushed. Like, he's still able to effectively do that.
Like, if I go to an Oval Office and I see some fucking dentures, what's the thing that hold your dentures together? I know they for Bernie. You know what I'm saying? Bernie, the age thing is a factor. But,
but I mean, he polls better than any other candidate in the young vote.
That's true. He does do a lot better with the younger voters. But you know, I'm just saying I'm voting for Byrne, but I think a negative is just age. You know, he would be the oldest person ever elected president in the history of the planet. So
I agree. Age is the negative.
Yeah,
like that's,
and it's the best I can come up with since I'm going to vote with the guy. But
that's and I mean, his main thing is so he can inspire people that don't normally vote. He was able to do that in the 2016 election. Will he be able to do that in this election, in this primary, and will he be able to do that in the general election is another question. Because I mean, he got a massive number of people that don't normally vote to come out to the polls.
Yeah, but let's not forget he lost though. You know, even though for all that he lost, and for all that too. Yeah. Hillary Clinton got 3 million more votes than Trump, and she lost. You know, so it's not. So we're talking about getting the votes in the right places, not just getting
but he polled better than Hillary. When they were actually comparing Trump versus Hillary and Trump versus Bernie for the states that Hillary lost that were crucial, Bernie polled better than Trump in those states by like 10 plus points.
Now, it's funny because I would agree with you, but I believe the polls that were saying that Hillary Clinton had a 98% chance to win.
No, but she,
you know?
but
And
she,
she
no,
lost.
no, that was the projections. The actual polls had her in the margin of error. If we're talking about actual polls, I'm saying that the polls, the actual polls, had Bernie like beating Trump by greater than the margin of error.
Interesting. It'd have been interesting to see, but I don't know. I think polls are great, but as to say that he was winning in the polls, that means he's going to win the election. I think it's just a little it's presumptuous to say the least.
Well,
You know
I
what
mean, if you actually look at the polls for the past like 20, 30 years, they've been as close as you could possibly get to the actual elections.
But you would have to admit though, the polls on the last election were just wrong. Like they were off. They were off.
No, the projections were wrong, and that's because the people that do the projections on news media just had this absurd thought process that Trump would lose no matter what, and Hillary was always going to win. That she was crowned president beforehand. But if you actually looked at the polls, all the polls kept it inside the margin of error.
Yeah, that's true. It's funny because I know even 538, which is really good at these predictions, they had Hillary Clinton up by like 70-80% too. So, but again, you're right. It's just projections at that particular point, and they were within the margin of errors. But nobody expected Michigan to flip for Trump, though. I think that was like a real shock. Michigan, Wisconsin, and Pennsylvania.
I just want to point. So, do you know Young Turks?
Yes.
Okay, so Shank in March of that year of 2016 said that if Hillary didn't campaign in the what's that belt called?
The Rust Belt, Michigan.
Rust Belt. Yeah. He literally said if Hillary didn't campaign in the Rust Belt, that Trump was gonna win in March.
And she didn't campaign in the Rust Belt.
Yeah.
But because it had been Democratic for the past like 12 election cycles, like it was polling Democrat too. But again, it became one of those things where it polled very well, and she only lost by like 50,000 votes in a handful of states. So it wasn't like it was this. It just everything broke right for Trump at the end. But now, before we get too captivated with Bernie, because Bernie's going to seems to be a long conversation. I got to move it off to our number one contender for the Democratic nomination in 2020, and for all of you guys, here we go. Because I did one for Bernie. This is the number one contender, Democrat. And this shouldn't be a surprise to anybody. It's Kamala Harris, Senator.
It should be a surprise for everybody, since she has never won a poll.
But talk to us. Why is this a bad choice?
Hold on, we got some pushback. Y'all see the chat for CRISPR? Oh, so CRISPR says no, the projections were not wrong. The projections said that 1 in 3 chance of Trump winning. 538 did not have her up by 70 points. They said that she only has 70% chance of winning. 1 in 3 chance of winning means that you win one time in 3.
Yeah. So he misspoke with the 70 points, but he meant 70% or 70-80%. So I
meant 70%. Yeah,
that's why I didn't correct Nate, because I knew what he was saying.
Sorry, CRISPR. Yeah. I meant 70%.
Yeah. Okay. But the media is literally trying to push a narrative at this point.
Mm-hmm.
There's no polls that show her ahead of any other Democrat thing other than the people below. So the top two for polling. When they poll Democrats are Joe Biden number 1 and Bernie Sanders number 2. So that's how the polls work. Their main logic, there was a CNN reporter, I think, or analyst 2 weeks ago that was on air, and he was explaining the reasons why Harris was number 1 in the CNN polls was that she's the anti-Trump, and she's a young, fresh face.
Well, she checks all the boxes. She's a she's a number one law and order Democrat. So because she was a state attorney general, so she has that tough on crime kind of feel.
Yeah,
but yet
she has one of the worst records.
Yeah, but again,
for progressive side.
But now she's talking all these progressive policies. She's, Medicare for all, that type thing. So she's kind of like if we want to take Hillary Clinton, take a little bit of the baggage off and darken her skin, we get a Kamala Harris. You know what I'm saying? That type. It's kind of like that. That's what we want to do. And let's not forget the times that we're living in, where you definitely want to see the first woman president, and that's the way, Hollywood and the progressive side are pushing. So it seems like she's the perfect candidate to fit that box, to say, okay, we don't have an old white woman. Let's get us a young black woman who kind of has checks all those boxes, and running for president, and then keep telling everybody that she's at the top, and that's what they're doing.
So she is probably the best candidate from the corporatist side in any election, because she has voted the most out of any Democrat against Trump. So she has the best record when it comes to that. So she has been planning this since Trump was elected, like this run.
But do you think she can win?
Do I think she can win? No, not at all.
Drag, do you think she can win? Do you think she's gonna lose too?
No.
so her main problem is going to be that during this primary season, her old stances as a attorney and the attorney general are going to be brought up. So that's gonna destroy her record, and she's already like said positions at a town hall, and then the next day immediately like retractions. And I mean, if you do that against Trump jumps all over those, and for every single fault that he has, his supporters don't care. So I mean, he can do whatever he wants and he'll still maintain his supporter base. But like Democrats, on the other hand, they can't have that like different or change, like constantly changing opinions when you're supposed to stand on issues.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I think Kamala, I like her, and if she runs and she's up against Trump, I'm going to vote for her over Trump. But I don't love her, and I do feel like she's being pushed out there as a front runner right now. My top two are probably Bernie, Biden, and these other candidates are just fillers for for those two.
So my top three, and so number one is Bernie, and then number two is like, and number three are a tie with Tulsi Gabbard and Elizabeth Warren.
Tulsi Gabbard and Elizabeth Warren. Jussie Smollet should be on that list too.
Might as well. Well, my issue is that like when people were just shitting on Harris, I was like, okay, it is what it is. She's a black woman. I kind of expect some blowback just because of that. Then I started looking at like, okay, the legit criticism of her and how she, went about criminal justice reform. I'm going to put that in air quotes, reform, during her tenure as a fucking DA. And just like, okay, well, she tries to explain it away now as well. I was doing my job. I was trying to change it from the inside. And I was like, well, so what in particular did you do to change it from the inside? Like what type of policies or measures? Because if you're still locking up people for shitty drug offenses, like having a dime bag, that's not, that has how does that help anything? So you're saying one thing and then you're trying to rewrite history and BS me. So okay, if that's what you're doing, then just be fucking up, to be honest. Like, you know what, I could have did more. I would accept that I could have did more looking back at it, and I should have done more. But then you have her doing shit like the hot sauce meme where she's over here fucking, doing photo ops with a whole thing of hot sauce. I'm like, just, are you serious? Like, that's what I want to say to her. Like, I got it. You don't have to reaffirm your blackness with me. I don't, I'm a fellow light skin. You don't have to do that.
You're telling me that you don't carry around hot sauce at all times,
No,
Drake?
no, I carry around Tony's actually, but like that shit right there tells me that you're not serious and you're just pandering to me, and that's insulting. And so no, I'm not gonna fucking vote for you. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's like
Well,
that's the only thing that we have against Bernie is that I'm pretty sure we could find something else. I think you mentioned the FBI thing, but she is a lot younger, and that is definitely an appeal, right?
well, I mean, why don't we put Tulsi Gabbard in that same sense, since she's the youngest? So yeah, so she's an Indian American that is running, so she has that minority appeal. She's young. She's the youngest one out of these people. She's very progressive when it comes to like economic issues, but she does have a negatives in that she supported like a Indian nationalist movement in the past over in India. She is a veteran. No, no, Indian. Yeah, yeah, no, yeah, no. She's a vet. She has actually visited Syria. She served in Iraq and Afghanistan. I'm trying to think of like main things about her. Like,
I mean, it's a
she,
lot of check marks for me.
yeah,
Definitely people who serve, because I kind of have an issue. Like, part of me has an issue with people who are commander in chief, but you've never served a day in your life. Like, a part of me
yeah.
does have an issue with that.
So, she is against like like most of the wars that we're in currently of regime change. She's like, all right, we need to stop all this nonsense.
But
and
so was Trump though until
Yeah.
he wasn't,
No, but she's actually had a voting record of that.
Because a lot of times too, when people are talking about they want to get us out of the wars, they forget that sometimes, unfortunately, it's not that easy. It is not that easy. And I think that's what happened with Trump. That's when Trump in Syria, he's like, we're just going to get out, but come to find out, there's a lot at stake. You can't just walk away. So.
Well, I mean, so Trump's thing of getting out is also possibly paying for contractors to go in. So Blackwater.
Well, I think Trump's getting out is because Vladimir Putin said you got to go, and if you don't want them to know about the money laundering, you're gonna get the fuck out. So, I think Trump is wholesale like being blackmailed by the Russians, no doubt.
Yeah, I'm with you, Hannah. That I don't think she has enough appeal. That's why Tulsi would need Bernie to be VP. If Tulsi even wanted a chance.
Or she would need to break out of one of those debates, because that's what happened with Obama. Like, you got to do something where people start paying attention to you. Because when somebody told me a brother named Barack Obama was running for president, I was like, it sounds like another loser to me.
Yeah, check, real quick, check everybody's sound MP, because I think somebody can't be heard.
Hello.
I can hear
test. Yeah, everybody sounds good. That might have been me. Might have cut out. Yeah. No. It's all checking good. Yeah, I think it cut out earlier.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Well, listen. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say yeah. So right now, if y'all ask me, I'm with Bernie. I do need to look more into the hard numbers, which I know fucking Xavier's able to actually provide if I was genuinely curious. And so.
I just want to point out for anybody that's interested in, hey, where do we get this money? The question is, where do we get the money for $1 billion increase in our military spending this past year?
China.
Or $100 billion.
We borrowed it from China.
Like we So we can find money for the military. We can find money for like Homeland Security and building a wall. But for actual policies that benefit the Americans, the first question is, oh, where do we get the money? Why isn't that the first question for every single policy then, if we're going to go by that standard?
I'm saying it should be. I'm saying two wrongs don't make a right, though. I'm saying, the Republicans screwed us and do that. I'm saying what we need to do is those $2 trillion in tax cuts they gave the rich, we should cut those right down and then reallocate that money to something more useful, like Medicare for all, something like that. But I think just if you're talking about just putting extra $1 trillion on the credit card and saying because nobody asked them about their $1 trillion, I think it's just I think it's bad policy.
Well, I mean, that comes back to which economic theory you're running off of.
Mm-hmm.
So with modern monetary theory, it's the idea is that our money isn't valued based on any commodity or anything like that. It's actually based on the government's ability to tax, and that as long as the government has the ability to tax the populace, then the government can pretty much print money.
Yeah, but I wish it was that simple.
It has a devaluing effect, but I mean the defect can be offset.
Well,
based on the
let's see what's happening in Venezuela, for instance. You do have things like hyperinflation, things of that nature, when you do have monetary policy based on just printing more money, because that was their issue for solving their economic problem.
Well, no. That's not a similar case, since that was a one industry economy, oil industry.
Yes.
When the oil prices tanked, that's what tanked their economy. It also didn't help that the U.S. has imposed sanctions on the country for 40, 50 years now. And in like the Americas, a U.S. sanction is a very large thing.
Well, just to go back, because the point that was made is about the government being able to print more money, and that money, and if that amount of money versus the goods and services that are out there, if there's a large imbalance, then you do have this inflationary effect, and in Venezuela it happened. It was just easier to trigger that effect because you're right. It was 95% of their exports was oil, and it wasn't actually the sanctions that started their devaluation, but it was the price of oil going down.
Well,
and their capacity to actually to pull the oil out of the ground went down. They went from making like 2 billion gallons a day. I mean 2 million gallons a day down to like 1 million gallons a day. So production's cut in half. Go ahead.
I was bringing in the sanctions to why they couldn't develop a stronger economy, because they weren't able to effectively trade with nations around them. Because a lot of those nations are our allies, and we give them benefits and other things in there. So if they want the things from us, they can't do things with Venezuela. So Venezuela was in a very bad situation already.
Yeah, but we were still taking their oil up to I think a couple of years ago. Like their oil was still they're still an OPEC nation. We're still taking their oil. So what I would say is that I think the United States is in a different situation, but I think for different reasons. I think the reason would be is that, like, for instance, China holds $2 trillion in U.S. currency. So a devaluation of U.S. currency would throw them into shambles. So it would throw the same thing for the EU, because so many people are invested in the United States that the United States, we are too big to fail. Because if we fail, then all economies around the planet fail. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, and that's what. I'm like, that's why I said, like, we have a mitigating factor when it comes to our currency, since it's the world currency at the moment.
That's true. And that's what happened in Zimbabwe when they went through hyperinflation. They just switched overnight to the U.S. dollar. So
I'm not saying we need to just start. We need to print $20 trillion tomorrow and just pay off our debt like that. But I mean, we like quantitative easing is pretty much just creating money. That's all quantitative easing is.
Yeah, I'll even agree with that. But I still think, though, is that right now we're not on a gold standard. We're on a faith-based standard. And when you do have that faith-based standard, there are limits to how much money you can print. And I think the United States is, the Fed and the people who study this are very well versed that we can't just print our way money out of a debt issue that we have.
Well, I mean, so that's why I said so. Modern monetary theory is one of the major theories in economic theory today. That's why I'm like this.
No,
this isn't just some like hodunk idea. So I mean, it's actually like debated if this should be the model, and you have the Austrian economics that goes by the whole different model of that the government spending actually decreases economic productivity. You have the Keynesian, where government spending actually increases economic activity. So I mean, it gets very questionable on like which one is fully right, which one is fully wrong, because there's not really one.
Well, it's like when people say in the United States talking about how they hate socialism, but don't realize that they live in a quasi-socialist society. Like, you know, schools are socialized, police are socialized, you know, and in some places, military, you know. So a lot of times people don't understand that even here in the United States, we have a mix of some socialist policies, and but you know, when it comes to business, it's all capitalism. But you know, we live in a mixed society. So when somebody says they hate socialism and then they send their kids to the public school, you know, don't send your kids to the public school if you hate socialism, because that's socialized education.
Well, I love the people who, especially the politicians, who have a socialized healthcare system. They don't have to worry about anything when they go to a hospital. And in the military, oh, we love the military. Well, what do you think happens? I've never had to pay anything when my son was born. The military took care of that. Well, guess what? That was a socialized healthcare system. So the very same people who don't like this shit are the ones benefiting from it. How odd is that?
Best healthcare in the country is TRICARE.
Yep.
Oh wow.
Yeah, military healthcare is the best one.
Well, on that note, we've kind of circled the wagons here, and now it's almost that time to say goodbye. Listen, guys, this was like a really long show tonight, so I don't know why I feel so drained. Maybe it's because it's like raining over here. You guys are over there in Texas, where
nice and warm here.
Yeah, the global warming hasn't gotten to you guys yet. Climate change is going on now. But listen, Drag, please take us out and say good night to the people for us, man.
All right, thank you all, especially you dragoons out there, you evil people. Thank you, some of our newer viewers, some of our new subscribers. If you guys want to come on the show, y'all got a topic, something you want us to cover, please leave us a comment. Next week, we plan on having Godless Iowan on. We got to link up with him sometime this week. If you are in the Texas area, this Thursday, I will be giving a speech at a particular place. Hit me up about that. I would like to thank our guest, the Invisible Man, a.k.a. Xavier, a.k.a. My half Mexican, half white cousin, wherever he wants to identify himself as. Thanks, Nate. Thank you all for coming out. And that's it.
Peace, people. And listen, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, like, share. You know, you guys know the drill. I ain't got to fucking. You guys are old enough to know what to do. So thanks again for coming out and watching. And we're going to see you guys next time. Peace.
That's the sound of the police!